we can see how the string is no more in level with the other ones. And then it also depends what I want to do. Or we have this strum here and this more open sound, but sometimes if we press very hard, it's stopping. Maybe, you know, it's too much going on like that. So it should be quite a gentle, let's say. We can string like this one. Just like a normal guitar or strum instrument, really. The patterns we do on this one. Now, some people use a plectrum. Do we have a plectrum? A pick. I prefer to use my nails in this case, but normally they use in other tradition in Africa, in Greek, they use a very heavy plectrum, very heavy and thick wood actually, and they do quite hard and a lot of strumming like that. So I got that idea and create myself a strumming feathers. I don't remember which animals I found. I think this is from England actually, both of them. Maybe goose or I don't know. Anyway, the good thing about this is that this is very soft and this is a bit harder. So I did trim a little bit in order to create more effect. And the effect that creates is very good because this comes from a bird. And the bird flies on the air. So this is very airy sound, yeah. So we have to normally take like the opposite of some plucked instruments. They use like this. So I use the opposite, right? So like this. So very rapid effect, you know, of getting an atmosphere, let's say, or maybe if we are a singer or whatever, or there is a flute or whatever, and want to create like some effect. And we are already, it depends on the length, on where we hit. It opens and closes. This is a very good effect, the feather. And the other one is more like a plectrum. So it's a bit harder, the tip of this one. So yeah. Also with the tip of the finger, very flat, like that, like strumming. Another technique I use is the drumming. Just hitting, just on the just in here, just right after the bridge. Not here because we have a funny sound over here, but just here because it gives more heated sound rather than here. So you get that woody sound also like a drum. So whatever we can really to explore, to get the maximum of the instrument, let's say, for a rather simple archaic instrument. We have to consider that this instrument was very much an important thing, because on the other lyre, like the Trossingen, this one it was found in Germany, in Trossingen. So they found buried in the in these big graves that they used to bury it, he was a warrior, and he was dead. He was buried dead with the weapon on his hand and the lyre on the other hand. This was found, when they discovered the grave. So it must be a very important instrument if the warrior bard, or I think it's called the warrior bard, wanted to be buried with embracing the lyre. It must be an important instrument. So yeah. This is great. Also, I'm very bad singer. I'm afraid I cannot give you an example, but this is very good for singing and for storytelling too, because you can create a lot of effects, drones, and everything. And I recommend this one for people who sings and tell stories, because it's the perfect instrument, especially for this old school style of sound that the lyre gives. Another thing that we have to consider on the lyre is the drums. We have, I normally have the fifth, let's say, at the top, in this case, my case. Sometimes sometimes, so I use like a drum all the time, or sometimes in the melody, depends on the melody, we can use this drum. I'll give you an example. For example, a dream, for example, the melody goes like this. Okay, so we have already in the melody, we have the fifth in the drums. So when I start the melody, I play with my pinky, in this case, the bottom drum. So, and when I go here, I play the drum at the top, right? So you see, so I do combinations on that within the melody. If I'm going down, I play the top drum or the bottom drum. So yeah, this is very briefly, but basically this mostly the techniques I use on this instrument, together with the changing of tuning, and experimenting, really, playing up here, down here, wherever you because we don't have nothing for these instruments. We can find a lot of information maybe in Greek lyre. I don't know too much about Greek music, Greek style music, Greek lyre, but I see videos and I read things about this, because in Ethiopia and in other parts of Africa we can find a lot of lyres still played today. So it's good to have a look at that, because it's related instrument in any case. So it's very interesting to get as much information as we can from other cultures, if you like, or the same instrument. But it's very different, because lyre have Greek lyre have like 11, 12, sometimes more strings. It's almost like our harps. So that shape hands is also different when you do the strumming and things, because we need to we have more strings. So it depends how many strings you have and everything. But yeah, basically that's all the details I have to say about this instrument, or how to play. If you want to ask any question about the lyre before we go into the harp, please go ahead. If you want to ask any questions or related,
we had a couple of questions about what strings do you use on the lyre, Vicente?
okay.
What strings?
Yeah, at the moment I'm using Nile good, right? But I have been strung with silver. Also, other lyre have with brass, like a clasher, um, and that's even more difficult to get the top note high because it's very long distance. So you need to. I did change to iron too to the top because it was breaking all the time. So it's a bit different, but it's very nice sound. The metal string sound is very good. I did try silk also, this roll silk. Very nice, but with the nails, it sounds a bit because it's rolled so and it's more muted. Also, I try gut, which is very nice, and fluorocarbon. I think I tried too, but now, yeah, this one too. This one has a nail good, yellow and one white because it broke. So I have, so far it's working very well. So I don't know. Some people use nylon too, but nylon a bit is too plucky. You know, sometimes nylon is too harsh for me. So this sounds very well. The nail good, it works well. So.
Would you have any ideas of any good books, like tutor books for the lyre? Anything useful to start with?
Good question. Yeah, I haven't got any, but I know. Oh, I forgot this guy. In do you remember in Puivert Festival, Jill?
Oh yeah.
What was the name of the guy and the lady?
Who were playing the lyre?
Yeah, this
Making
long
lyre.
hair guy. Remember? He organized the festival actually. One.
Oh, of course. Yes, yes. Julien Cuivert,
Julian Couvet,
Cuivillon?
exactly.
Yes, something like that. Yeah,
Exactly. He and his wife they make lyres too, and
they do.
they did the this discovering of the Breton lyre,
Yeah.
small lyre. So yeah, I think they make a book.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think they make
Okay.
a book with all the strumming patterns and maybe songs too.
Yeah.
Um,
All right.
but I
I
don't
will.
know.
Yeah. I will look up the references, Nick and other people, and I'll post them on Facebook or something like that on the Medieval Music in the Dales page for some
Yeah,
ideas. Yeah.
I remember seeing Julian and his wife that they published
Yeah.
something about a book not too long ago actually.
Yeah.
So I think it must be interesting.
That's a good thought. That's a good thought.
Yeah.
Right. Let me just think. Oh, is there anything else on the lyre there? I don't know. And people asking about where to buy a lyre, and I have suggested, as you say, Julian is one. Benjamin Simao is another for
Benjamin Simao, very
historically
good.
informed lyres.
Yeah.
You can get simple, cheap lyres quite easily, can't you? Can you do a lot of that on the simple lyres?
Yeah, this
What do you
maybe
speak
this
of?
Pakistani lyres I haven't tried that, but for example, you can get lyres from let's say 400 euro, 300 euro, rather good. Also, Michael King, I
Oh
think
yeah.
from England, he makes he also make kits, so you can
All
assemble
right. Yeah.
yourself, things like that. So it depends also on the after in the quality. This one here, the Trossingen one, this was a guy that he disappeared. Is James He. James He is called from England actually, and he did this lyre for me and another one. It's quite nice. And this one, this is from Juan Ramirez Vega. Is a luthier from here.
Yeah.
This is a special order that I made, and this is very good sounding lyre because it's a Spanish cedar top, so it's ringing like hell. This is amazing. And yeah, so I made this 7 string. It's a commission lyre I made with a slighter larger body, as you can see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, that was great. There's a lot so informative on the lyre, and you don't so often see a lyre played, illustrated, demonstrated so well.
Exactly.
So thank you.
It's good
But we
to
better move on to the harp.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, so the harp, something we are more familiar with. Okay, before we try any song or whatever, I'm tuned. I have a B flat at the moment, so I'm gonna be explaining some of the techniques. I think we all play the harp, right? We are not raw beginners in here, or yes, we are too. Maybe yes.
I think
Anyway,
not yeah,
not yet. Okay,
not
good.
complete beginners. I think.
Okay, that's good because we can talk about more advanced things in order to move on from just plucking the string, right? So we're looking for. Okay, so some things I apply on the harp is the same thing as I do on the lyre. I try to find different sounds and different texture and colors within the apart from the sweet spot of our instrument, which is the middle of the harp, let's say, the more sweet sound and velvet sound, if you like. That's nice, but as we know, a lot of medieval music are very short pieces, very short. So we want to repeat sometimes 3-4 times. So we don't have to play the same all the time. So we can achieve different ways. We can achieve this by different ways, either techniques on the right hand or either left hand accompaniment and so on. So something we can try, for example, is something very simple is just to play here and also play very down here. It completely change. It's more nasal sound. That's let's say the very basic change in the string. Also, you can see that I use Baroque or late Renaissance Baroque, either Spanish or Italian Baroque harp fingering. I don't use modern 4/5. Sometimes I do, but like this. Yeah, so I use normally those kind of fingerings too on the right hand, on the here too, on the way of going up. In the case we do scales. Okay, so now for the cantigas especially, although I do also on the trovador and trover music and other music too, medieval music, I use a lot of improvisations of techniques. What I do, that means that. I'm going to start with one, actually, that I took the idea from the lyre, actually. The example I told you before about the octaves and the middle in between, I apply that to the harp too for create a variation, for example, of a song. I will do a melody first, simple, and then I will show you with this technique. I have to say, I have to confess that I never listen to harp when I listen to music. Very strangely, I rarely, because I listen a lot to myself. So when I listen music, I listen lute, I listen keyboard, I listen violin, or either whatever period, right? Either doesn't matter which period, but I listen a lot of different instruments, so I like to incorporate those sounds into through the harp. So anyway. For example, let's say we are on D minor, in this case D minor, right? So what we're gonna do is we're going to play an octave on the fifth octave below, so it will be A from the D, yeah. For example, if I do like a scale from D to A, so we can do like this. So we play octave on A, like a drum, and then in between repeated notes we make our scale. Right, so for example, right, that's is understandable. So right, so. And I play with one finger the melody like this. Third finger, like for example. And I use that quite a lot with some other, I add also some ornamentation in this. For example, this one. So this typical ornamentation, right? So I use that, for example, within using the drum. That's a very rapid ornamentation, so it's like we can try, and we can try this one, taking a melody, for example, and do the whole melody ornamented, or maybe a part of that, just for a moment. For example, we're going to be looking at Cantiga 200, for example, this melody. Yeah, so for example, right? We can do the whole melody ornamentation just for the sake of having practice and rapid finger attack on the note, if you want to do a melody with that. For example, or even higher octave. That in the case we are in, we take the fifth or whatever we are in which key. For example, we're in D minor, so we take the A, in this case, the fifth, and we put an octave below or octave above, whatever key. If we are in G, we take the D for the fifth or whatever, and we take the drum in that fifth, right? So in this case, it's A, and yeah. So that's the canon style of sound, let's say, in the way. So yeah, so A in this case, because we're in D, and we can just play around really with these ideas. Doesn't have to be a melody. We make the drum and then we find some scales or invent ourselves a melody just to get familiar with the rapid ornamentation. Another variation of this one is again fifth octave. It doesn't matter if it's high or low, doesn't matter, but and then we use the octave also for the melody. So, and that's very alternating. A D D, A D D, or Mi, E, F, F, so. Yeah, so it's. Yeah, so in this case is fifth drum, and with the melody, we can do one finger, we can do octave, we can do this rapid ornamentation. Whatever. This is something that I quite use a lot. For example, but we can use also the key note in D, for example, also, and start the melody. For example, this one, Cantiga number 1, for example. And then we don't, so yeah, the same thing, we place the drum, octave drum, either in the fifth or in the key note of D or in the main note, and because we need to find where the melody goes. For example, in Cantiga number 1, the melody starts in A, let's say we're in D, it starts on the fifth, so we put the drum octave on the bass D, for example, and we have the space in between that octave. Yeah, and then we can do that octave melody, we can do the ornamentation canon style melody, even though we can do it here. the first thing we need to do is to practice this rapid ornamentation, and after this octave also works very well. So, and we keep the left hand on the D, and yeah. So that's another technique I use for especially in the cantigas and so on. Now let's, before, if we have any question and we look at the song, also on the left hand we have normally the typical drum normally we do on our left hand, right? But we can vary that also with an octave. Yeah, we can use octave as a drum. I use the pinky for the octave because I use nails sometimes, so but it doesn't matter which fingers you use really. Also, we can do the bass note, in this case the drum, and we can, with the thumb, I use the nail of my thumb, we can do the melody also like an echo of the melody here, yeah? So, we keep the drum, and we just, with the thumb, going up and do the melody with the thumb, where the third finger or the fourth finger or whatever finger you use the main drum, right? So I also, let me put this, because I play quite rather low on the harp most of the time. For example, we can also we can do opposite. We can do the drum in the, we can do like fifth A D, or we can put an octave D A D, this kind of octave with a fifth, and we can keep that like a whatever, and then we do like, I use the thumb for the melody. You can use other fingers too. Here the fingering is not important in this case, but yeah. And sometimes we hit the bottom note in order to give more body. Yeah, that's also I use a lot on the bass hand. And also we can do a little bit of sometimes a counterpoint or little melody with the left hand. Depends on the song. I don't know. For example, yeah. Yeah. For example, I will put that. It just came to my mind. This one. This one. From that song, the second part. Right. So normally we play our fifth, but we can do this. So we have, yeah, from D octave, and then going down a little scale here. So another option is like this. But yeah, we have to find. We have to be careful also which melody we do, so it doesn't sound too modern, you know, too contemporary or Celtic or whatever. So we need to find. It's a question of a lot of ear. And okay, this sounds good. This fits. This doesn't fit. This, you know. But yeah, um, so yeah, so there's a lot of actually this I have too many ideas. So please just stop me and tell me, ask me questions because I can I can jump from one thing to another.
Vicente, many people were asking if they could see the twiddle decoration, the fast movement that you were making in your right hand. If you can, you slow that down to see the thing you did first of all, the kanun
yeah,
type.
yeah, sure, sure. Okay, right. So we know we do. Everyone knows this ornamentation, right? Let's say taking in A B A, right? That ornamentation, we can do that. I put this finger. I use 3 1 2 because I dump is from the clash arc, but you can use 2 fingers. 1 2 1 doesn't matter. But this one, it creates a different effect. 3 finger, 3 1 2, and dump. It creates a more contrasting affecting sound. So, but yeah, this is basically that, right? So within that, let's take, we are in A B. Yes, for a sake, just playing. Let's take the octave D here. Let's do very slowly, so like that, right? So we placed. This is very much from the lyre, the technique we were talking before, the octaves and things. So yeah, octave D. We play our ornamentation. Doesn't matter. It's always good to do slow first ornamentation until we get the clips sound and rapid, slowly going rapidly. So we can do like. Yeah, or together also, right? So that's the idea. Is this ornamentation simple and octave. Now, the effect is when you go very fast. It is so this also is good to. I know a lot of techniques of this one comes from other harps too. I mean, this octave, for example, we do octaves in clash arc, in Celtic harps, and so on. So it's nothing. But it's good to do, for example, also octave very quickly on the harp. On the hand. So it also, because this requires this actually this kind of all the time, even if it's slowly. And then after that, when you combination, you can do like octave ornamentation. Okay, so octave and ornamentation, and then we move the melody down until you get familiar with that and it becomes naturally. But technically, let's say is ornamentation, and we can do octave ornamentation. And we can go if you like as an exercise, yeah. As an exercise, we can take it from this D. It could be from any note. Yeah? You have to experiment with this, with the intervals or whatever. This sounds good. This doesn't work. So that's the way. So we can do that, for example, from the D going bottom very slowly. So octave ornamentation. D. So going one octave. The A, and then GC, CG, sorry, BF, AE, just I'm going up to. So it will enable you to also experiment the texture of doing here, down here, because it's a different texture, yeah, it's a different sound, it's a different touch on the string, same as here. It's a different feeling on the hand, so it's good to do all the harp, wherever, going up and going down. So octave, ornamentation, and maybe we can lift another exercise. We can lift the D and going in between the notes that we have in that octave. So A, G, A, B, A, G, A. So with this all the time between here. So that's I don't know if that's more clear. If it's good if you understand the how does it work, you know, the mechanics of the.
Yeah, that helped a lot. Please ask away at questions, people. That was, yeah, that helped me a lot anyway. Is there anything you can recommend, Vicente, where some of these ornamentation ideas are written down? Are there any good tutors or?
No, I know. You know, one of the ideas that maybe is very similar to this, actually, is Anne Heyman couple of hands.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she does this kind of technique, but she used the right hand on the bottom, doesn't matter, but she used a lot of right hand. It's not exactly the same, but a lot of postures are same. But I took this one from my lyre playing, doing the octave and doing the melody. So I said, okay, let's try on the harp. So I compact, and also it's good because the medieval songs sometimes go through an octave. You know, it's not very extended melodies. It's 2 octaves as well. So we got an octave wherever drawn here, and we can do the melody. And when we clash the fingers with the notes of the octave, is even better effect. Like. So that's another technique we can do. We can do ornamentation and add another note there, either first or after. So so we can do that, and it's even more crazy. That one is so ornamentation and add thumb or other finger or whatever. So we can play down. So we add the thumb to the final ornamentation repeated. So it creates more. This canon actually, they do play very fast and very highly ornamentation. So that's the trying to imitation that instrument. So yeah.
Yeah, I know. Somebody also mentioned Bill Taylor, and I know Bill Taylor has written a lot about Apu and the
Exactly.
you know, the ornamentations in Apu. So that's another good one there.
Yeah, for ornamentation, and actually all the clasher area where string harp have plenty of ornamentation that we can take from that also and apply to the medieval harp. But for this technique, I was talking about this technique of 2 hands and octave and ornamentation. I don't have any resources for this, any book, tutors or something. But yeah, it's better, I think, if you understand the idea of how, because at the end of the day we have the importance especially in this music melodies, the importance, you know, especially in the single line melody. In this case, so we highlight that in whatsoever ways we can do. So this one is like reinforcing the melody with many notes, attacking the notes. So yeah, so it's good to experiment yourself and trying to find this kind of sounds. So yeah, basically. So you have any more questions? Maybe we can go to one of the songs if you like.
Yeah, let's have a look at one of the cantigas. That would be good.
Yeah, yeah. For example, we are okay. We are in with B flat. Yeah, we can do the Cantiga 200, for example. This is nice. Um, anyway, I didn't ask Fred how does it work about the timing of the workshop. I haven't asked really that.
Sorry. We have about another 5 minutes, five, six
Really?
minutes
Oh,
only.
oh my
It
God.
goes very
Anyway,
quickly.
wow. Okay, so anyway, normally when we look at the song, we straight away go to the middle of the harp and play the melody here, right? So, right? So that's our go, and then after we can put like a drum here, right? So I normally start this song up right to the top, and here, and I put a drum on the A, so like this. Right, so I do that as an intro with, with, with the A in the melody, as starting with, yeah, so that's the first part. Normally when I play a drum like this, I play my finger in the just in the low note below, just to as an anchor. It helps to create that, right? But sometimes I play the D. So that's I start there, and then the second part I do repeat the drum but in the D. Yeah, so, and then go back to the melody. And another thing I do is to octaves. Sometimes not the whole melody, but most of that, doing the octave just for that. And then maybe I switch octave down, because normally I like to play also in between the three octaves. I play melody here, and maybe also another song I play down here, starting in here, and another one starting like this one on here. But we could do any other. Now, yeah, this is another way of when I go in the lower octave, the second time I play the song, whatever. Now I do this. This is a damping. So I play the same note. We can play like that, but I play like thumb. All the thumb I'm damping with the third and the second finger. So yeah, so we can play the C here if you like. So I place in there, so it creates a different color in the sound. Yeah, so it's very pure. It's very sounding very pure. So yeah, so that's the second time. I do also a lot of melody like this, dissonance, like I want to play an E coming from the F, I just play the two together going down to the E. example, that's another part. Sometimes I do a lot on the melody. Now for the second part, when I do the repetition here, I use DA, and here I use DA also, like an echo. But now it's time for the melody of the second part. We put the C. It's like a 7th chord, yeah? DAC. Sorry? Yeah. Okay, so, and the DA at the bottom, so. And now, this technique also is very good, so. We keep that shape, the DA with the 4 and 2, whatever drum with this, and with the melody, we do the melody with the thumb. So, C, D, C, while playing this one. So I will play in this hand so you can see better maybe. Yeah, the melody goes like this. So I do like that. So yeah, like this. So yeah, so I incorporate the drums and then yeah. So that's the idea. So it sounds. Maybe we can do even repetition here. Well, it depends. So if you want to think if you clash the fingers or not, but or even like. I do this, or even down here, like a drum here, and we can play and stop rapidly, yeah. So or open. Yeah, so we put the DA in the drum, whatever note we are in this case, and we find the melody. Sorry? We can find also play repeated drum or whatever. So yeah, basically, second part will be like. Sometimes I do like this rhythmic, so play and stop at the same time. It's just an effect or to make a variation of the song, right? It's not. I don't play the whole song like that. So it's a moment I play maybe in higher octave first, and then go normal, standard, basic drum and melody in the sweet spot of the harp, and then maybe go down and maybe do the octave thing. So it gives more variety of sounds and textures and colors, in more bright, less bright if we do in the lower octave, in the higher octave. So yeah, I don't know.
That was amazing, Vicente. That was very, very interesting. I was particularly doing so much with the right hand, and getting the rich texture in there. That was really interesting. Thank you. And
you've given our harpers a lot to think about.
People asking, will it be